Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. We're going to do our daily technical analysis update of gold and silver. We'll take a look at it. Looks like it got punted in between the legs. Got punted between the legs today. I'll describe what's going on, or at least the way that I think it's going on. Again, it's just my opinion. Please don't use it as advice. We'll dive in here. I'll go through dollar, 10-year yield, precious metals, and then the companies themselves to give you an update on the sector. So here we go. Dollar getting smoked. Getting smoked. Weaker dollar against other currencies. Is this a beginning of a move lower? We'll find out. I try not to make predictions. What I try to do with this channel is I look at where the resistance... Okay, let me dive in here real quick. I'm going to give you a real quick thing. When I do this, I don't try to make predictions from it. I don't try to say it's predict. I say, okay, what I try to do is I try to gauge where is a good buying point to hold for a long-term hold. Ratios are good, yes. Market conditions are good, yes, for precious metals. And then the ratio of the mining companies is good to the physical metal itself. Gold in relationship to the money supply is very good. Everything is good, and the market conditions are changing for that revaluation to occur. In all honesty, I don't really care what these things do in the short term. But what I do want is I do try to find buying opportunities. I try to find things that are down, that look good, and that are up against support lines. And we can also see where they're up against resistance levels. So that's what I'm using this for. I'm not trying to make predictions. What I'm trying to do is say, is this a good rough spot for potential additions to the portfolio? And right now, the dollar's right up against this resistance line. It's not right up against it. It's getting close. We're pulling back, and we could have a weaker dollar. A weaker dollar is a tailwind for commodities and precious metals. Now, the 10-year yield, this thing's moving higher. As expected, we think this is going to go higher. At least I think it's going to go higher. Why do I think it's going to go higher? Inflation is going to pull it higher, and bondholders are going to sell. So we've got the 10-year yield moving on up, 4% today. This will cause a rotation of money out of stocks and bonds and into precious metals and commodities. That doesn't mean that every single day will be like that. It's the general trend. And now we're going to see kind of what, the precious metals look like. The precious metals hit their head on this all-time high. Very common. If we closed above it, it probably would have done a big pullback to the support level. This one's under that resistance line. It hit its head yesterday, and then it dropped. People sold off. Do I think this is over? No, I don't think it's over. I think we're going to move sideways and recover ourselves, and then take another run at it. How fast will that happen? I can't tell you that, guys. I don't know the future, but what I can tell you is we hit our head on resistance. That's what we did. Silver, it just mirrored what gold did, but it's coming back. It's above support here. I think it still looks really good. There's no reversal candlestick pattern here. Everything is still okay. Platinum getting a little bit more of a kick to the between the legs. Again, we're above. Again, we have to go back. Are we above the breakout line? Yes. We have a big sell-off day. We'll see what happens after this. We could come back a little bit, maybe a couple more days or so, and then we'll see if it turns around. XAU to gold ratio is holding flat, basically. It's actually up 2%. It ended down, but then came back up. What does that mean? It means that the mining companies aren't believing the move in gold. That's what it means. It means that we're getting small down days in gold, or gold mining companies, and gold had a massive kind of hit. So the miners aren't believing it. And here's it's almost a conspiracy theory in investment, I guess. This is my conspiracy theory real quick. I think that somebody did this on purpose. They punched it lower, and then they bought the mining stocks, because the mining stocks didn't really fall down. Usually they're leveraged to the play of gold, but the mining companies, if you look, Karora Resources down 0.81%, and it's got a bullish type candlestick. What is it? What do I mean by this? We opened here, this bottom one. We opened there, we traded down, and then came back up, and then closed higher. The momentum is going up. I think that they did some, I don't know, manipulation type stuff and bought the mining companies. They wanted some cheaper shares. And we're seeing this across the board. It's not just one company. They opened up, they went down, and then they closed higher. Momentum's coming to the upside. People bought this pullback. So we've broken out of these trend lines. They pushed it down low and then bought it all back up. Interesting, right? They bought this up. First Fortuna Silver Mines. They bought it up. It's above the breakout. What do I do in this type of scenario? I buy. That's what I do. I buy. SilJ, they pushed it down. The stock opened here, closed up. Momentum is up. Even though we have a down day, this is bullish in my eyes, not bearish. Or at least it's not a bearish movement. It's a neutral to bullish movement. GDX has the same thing. They tried pushing it lower. Somebody came in and bought it all back up. SIL, same thing. MMNGF. Now, this one's a little bit different story. Got a little bit more of a selling pressure move in there versus some of the other ones. Koya Resources. It's got that bullish. I mean, it was up 3.18. It's probably heading higher. That's why I got the arrow there. And this has been there for a while, guys, from this bullish engulfing pattern right there. That bullish engulfing gives me confidence that most likely we're going to head up. And we've got a whole bunch all sprinkled through here. We've got nice big up days, smaller down days. It looks good for a move higher still. Discovery Silver, same thing, small little down day today. It was down 3.13, but it didn't really move. There was no momentum throughout the day to push this lower. So I think we could come in tomorrow and have a reversal candlestick tomorrow, or maybe we go up tomorrow. We'll see. Again, I'm not in the game of predictions, but I'm just telling you and just describing what I'm seeing. Again, this happened here. It opened lower and then closed higher. Momentum of the day is going up. And if you want to see that, let me get this drawing out of here. Let's go to the 1 day. And what I'm saying is it gapped down. Momentum was coming up. We had a little detour, but the momentum is still coming back up. So the momentum of this day is finished quite strong. So it doesn't look that bad to me. Doesn't look that bad. Newmont, same thing. Whenever you go left to right, that's a bullish movement. We opened low, and even though we closed low, the momentum is a left to right movement. Left to right movements are bullish. And if you look and back up, let me go to the yearly. This is the thing. We have it was pushed lower pre-market, and then it came back up. The buyers were buying it back up. Mag Silver, same thing. It opened lower, finished back up. The momentum's going up. AUY, same thing. We're seeing it across the board in the majority of these companies. Now, some of these smaller ones, they did go down. A little bit of scary in the mix there. They're like, oh no, I should sell my shares. But on the Finding Value channel, we know not to be selling our shares. We can see this pattern. We can see them pushing this lower, ending on up in Siboney, Stillwater. I don't know how to pronounce it, guys. I'm just a white guy from Minnesota, okay? Don't hold it against me if I don't know how to pronounce the majority of this stuff. So I think it still looks good. And Sandstorm Gold, same thing. We opened lower. Buyers bought it back up. Now, this does not, I mean, you know, I think it's actually still pretty bullish. Why do I think that? If people really believed in this gold move, sellers would have driven these miners down and ended very low. It would have been a strong sell-off to the downside. But guess what? No strong sell-off. The buyers came in here and bought it back up. So the buyers are there. They're saying, I don't believe it. Give me the shares. And we're seeing it across the board. This isn't just one or two companies. Franco-Nevada, same thing, I think, because this was definitely lower, I think, earlier in the day. That's FNV. Franco's a big royalty company. They're kind of Lassonde is the one who started this. See, it opened down and then it came back up. We're right at support. I would be a buyer here if you guys like Franco-Nevada. Same with the MX royalty. You got the hammer pattern. Still looks good to go higher. Still looks good. Tune Resources, it said, who needs gold prices? I'm going up 3% anyway, so that looks good. Wheaton Precious Metals, it opened low, came all the way back up. Momentum is heading higher. Now, are we going to get for surely an up movement out of this? I don't necessarily know that, but it looks fine for a potential move. The sellers aren't there smoking these things. So that's what I look for in all this stuff. Yeah, a little bit of selling pressure there. MTA basically flat. We're still above all of these patterns, so everything looks good there. Mavericks Metals, yeah, a little bit more of a this one opposite. It opened high and ended lower. Momentum's going downward on Mavericks Metals. Looking at Royal Gold, same thing. It opened very low. It gapped lower. The closing price was here. It gapped lower, and then we ended very strong. This is a left to right movement. I like left to right. That means it shows strength in the chart. And then we got our Cisco Gold Royalty, same thing. Opened down, ended up. So that one I think looks really strong. The sector doesn't look that bad, guys. I mean, yeah, it gapped lower. A little bit of a kick to the groin there, but throughout the day, the buyers came in and bought it back up. So I think it looks just fine. If you guys like the content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.